An empty field, midnight. The lights fade up on the boy lying spread eagle on his back, down stage center, eyes closed. He breathes slowly and deeply.
God, I'm so high. How did I get so high? Fuck. Where am I?
The boy drags himself up onto his elbows one by one, and looks around confusedly for a second, before falling back into the grass with a dejected sigh, the sound of wind. Suddenly, we hear a low whir and tendrils of mist unfurl across the floor from stage right. Death enters from the wings, hovering several feet above the stage.
Hiya, kid.
Death waits expectantly to be noticed, but the boy continues to lie comatose on the grass, much to Death's annoyance.
Who's there?
The boy listens expectantly, but upon hearing nothing, puts his head between his knees and begins to sway gently back and forth.
Oh, fuck.
The boy turns to stage left and vomits once with great gusto. He seems disappointed thereafter and spits onto the vomit puddle before wiping his mouth half-heartedly, his downstage arm before resuming his swaying, head between knees.
Ugh, I'm getting too old for this.
Who's there?
The boy struggles to his feet. He's able to stand, but not without wobbling slightly. Death continues to hover stage right as the boy scans the audience, searching.
Whoever's out there, this isn't fucking funny. I'm warning you. I made it all the way to purple belt at the YMCA.
The boy karate chops the air in front of him with his right arm, but almost falls over from the effort.
Unfortunately, that's not going to help you very much.
The boy spins around to face Death, seeing him for the first time. The momentum of the turn knocks him off of his balance again.
Who are you?
Death. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Death nods as if tipping an invisible hat.
Wait, why are you a cattle skull? Aren't you supposed to be all like black robes and scythe and stuff?
Are you literally 5 years old?
The boy looks down sheepishly, but then abruptly realizes the gravity of who he's talking to.
Wait, am I dead?
No, not yet. That vomit puddle doesn't bode well for you, though.
Death nods stage left. The boy's eyes return to his shoes in embarrassment, but then snaps back to attention.
So if I'm not dead, then why are you here?
Death becomes self-conscious for the first time and turns away from both the boy and the audience. The boy crosses his arms across his chest and faces Death a bit steadier. Death bobbles gently as though scratching his head.
What was I doing?
Death begins to pace back and forth.
This better not be some like ghost of Christmas future examine your life bullshit.
No fire, no flood. I don't see a single thundercloud.
Hello?
Death pivots to face the boy.
What do you want?
What do I want? You're the one materializing in empty fields in the middle of the night.
Hey, man, lay off. This job isn't as easy as it looks, you know. No one's ever happy to see me. It's always like, when was the last time I said I love you? And they could have gone so far, their life cut tragically short, and on and on and on. Oh, and all those flowers. What the hell are flowers good for? I mean, the food, I can understand. Who doesn't want to sit alone in the dark with a paper plate saggy under the weight of a lukewarm enchilada casserole and stare blankly at a screen playing something, anything to distract from that secret, gnawing pit of your stomach that caves into itself over and over? so that you think it's getting smaller. But it's actually getting heavier and heavier until it's a fucking neutron star that rips through your guts and leaves you quivering in the wind like the last leaf, stubbornly stuck on the branch as if it didn't get the memo. It's time to die.
Death begins to mutter to himself softly. His skull shakes gently, as though with great interior effort. The boy inches toward Death out of concern, though clearly uncomfortable.
Um, are you okay, dude?
Jesus. He almost gave me a heart attack. You should know better than to sneak up on someone like that.
Death attempts to catch his breath. The boy is becoming impatient.
Well, you can stay here and figure your shit out, but I have a hot pocket at home with my name on it.
With his attempt at a definitive nod, the boy spins on his heels to face stage left. Takes a few unsteady steps forward, but gradually realizes he's going the wrong way, and then switches directions towards stage right.
Wait. Don't go.
What?
I mean, I guess I have the night off, so if you're not doing anything,
Death wiggles a bit, as if digging a toe into the dirt.
Wait, do you want to, are you trying to hang out?
yeah.
Why the fuck would I want to hang out with you? You fucking killed my grandma last year. Or don't you remember? No, of course you didn't. For you, it was probably just another day at work. For you, it was just another night, another tumor, another rattling breath, another bedpan spill. No, absolutely the fuck not. You're the fucking last person I'd want to hang out with. If we were the only two people, well, entities or whatever on a desert island, I wouldn't talk to you. Even if you had the last like coconut and I was fucking starving, I still wouldn't talk to you. In fact, why am I even talking to you now?
The boy attempts to walk past Death, but he blocks the path. You ever see to do that back and forth dance when you try to pass someone in a hallway and you both move to the same side?
Get the fuck out of my way.
The boy shoves Death roughly, his hands hitting the air where Death's chest would be. Death stumbles backwards, but recovers quickly enough to continue blocking the boy's path.
Fine. Then go.
Death leans his head in resignation. The boy is surprised, but quickly tries to regain his composure by straightening his clothes with a soft hurrah and resuming his exit.
Just know that she was one of the lucky ones. Do you know how many people I've killed? Of course not. How could you? Just last week I killed a girl. She was fucking beautiful. God, she was beautiful. The air was thick with summer, punctuated only by the tick, 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 tick of the sprinklers, and a scream you have to listen to for a second before you realize it's a squeal of delight. All that small town shit. The lilacs and the chubby bees and the skinny mailman and a panting dog that seeks shelter from the midday heat in the shady grass. And you know what? On top of everything else, it was her birthday.
The boy slowly turns to face Death, impossibly slow, as though drawn by a weak magnet.
Yes, it was her fucking birthday. The lawn is littered with scraps of wrapping paper and plastic that inevitably end up in the little one's mouth if mom doesn't gather them up right away. The ice cream cake she insisted on, even after being patiently informed of the fate of frozen treats on warm days, melts on the table like some gloopy centerpiece.
The boy is now fully facing Death, completely wrapped up in his story.
And the ball. That red fucking ball. The ball that began to roll. So slowly at first you'd barely notice it. But then it's gathering steam. Now it merrily races down the hill, easy and free as laughter. A bright streak through the stillness. So of course the girl runs after it.
The boy leans toward Death as he continues.
Mother, however, carefully mops up the sticky mess with her soupy paper towel. By the time she catches the blur of movement out of the corner of her eye, her daughter's already halfway down the street. Eyes widen, mouth opens in a small O, and then a larger one. Cool sugar milk drifts from her outstretched hand. And then as quick as it began, it's over. Quicker even. The flash of metal, the dull thud, the screech of tires. She runs down the driveway, almost falls, runs faster. The O of her mouth widens and widens until it swallows everything, heat behind the eyes and stone in the throat. Wet curls and unnatural limbs and slack-jawed irises that mirror the sky.
Death rotates to face the boy.
So yeah, when compared to that, gently drifting off in a morphine haze at the ripe age of 87, surrounded by her loving family, seems like a pretty good way to go.
The boy gingerly reaches out to touch the back of Death's head, but stops halfway and draws his hand back to his mouth.
Listen, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
The boy fishes around the in pouch of his oversized hoodie and eventually finds and extracts a half-smoked joint. He wanders downstage center and heavily plops down on the floor. He wraps his arm around his knees and wedges the joint between his lips with his right hand. His left hand returns to the pouch, where it rustles for a moment, and then pulls out a book of matches. He strikes one with his right hand unsuccessfully and kisses softly under his breath each time. The sound startles Death, who looks over and begins to hover downstage center until he stops a few feet above the boy's left shoulder. The boy finally succeeds with the third match and brings it to the tip of the leftover joint. He cups the flame with his left hand until the joint burns red-orange. The boy extinguishes the match with a few shakes of his right hand and then unceremoniously flicks it stage right. The boy holds it between his left thumb and index finger and draws it deeply.
Fuck, this shit is dank.
The boy covers his mouth with his right fist, as though about to cough or even vomit again, but it passes. He takes a smaller hit and stares out toward the back of the house. Death floats downstage left the boy, who obliviously continues to smoke.
Can I hit that?
The boy passes the joint to Death without looking. A short beat before he realizes Death doesn't have hands. The boy glances at his outstretched arm and then Death himself.
How do you?
Just like blow into my nose hole.
This better not be some gay shit.
Just do it.
The boy sighs, shrugs, takes a sizable hit, and then leans over to carefully blow it into Death's nasal cavity.
Didn't inhale, huh?
The boy shoulders Death playfully, who sways gently in response.
Shut up.
Both the boy and Death gaze at the back of the house. The boy transfers the joint to his right hand and takes a final hit, and then stubs it out in the dirt at his right side. As the light begins to fade, the boy puts his left arm around Death, who hesitates for a moment, but then delicately rests the right side of his skull against the boy's chest. The lights fade to black.